Hey guys, this is Bruce, and welcome to the Convocourses Podcast. I'm going to keep this open topics today, but I did get a couple questions. One was, should I lie on my resume? That's a good one. Another one is challenges of being in a risk management framework, ISO. And then I got some other comments in YouTube that I'm going to address. Let me start off with, should you lie on your resume? Should you lie on your resume? And I believe that the example that they gave me was that they were going to add some years on how much time that they put on their resume. Like instead of they worked 6 months at a SOC, they worked a year at a SOC or something like that, right? But let's talk about lying period on your resume. Should you do it? Let me just tell you what I do. So I do not lie on my resume. And the reason why is because I'm interviewing the organization as much as they're interviewing me. They need to know exactly what they're getting themselves into, and I need to know exactly what I'm getting myself into, because I'm looking for something, a year, 2 years, 3 years, or long term, right? Longer than that, permanent. I see it kind of like a relationship. When you get in a relationship, a serious relationship, it's better for the person to know everything they're going to get, right? The good, the bad, and the ugly. And it's better that the organization knows what they're going to get, right? You are advertising yourself, so you don't have to go into personal things, you know what I mean? But when it comes to skill set, you want them to know what they're about to get, because what you don't want to do is, what I don't want to do is get into an organization and they think I know Splunk and they think I have 5 years on Splunk, and I know what Splunk is, but I've never, they need to know, like, hey, I'm not going to be able to have a team under me and teach Splunk. I'm not a Splunk guru, right? I don't even know how to create Splunk content. I know what it is. I can learn it pretty fast, but I'm not going to be a supervisor of a bunch of people who know Splunk. Like, that's my mindset is, I want to get in there and I don't want there to be any kind of drama or issues. I want it to be drama free. Right. So that's why I don't lie on my resume. And if you go to LinkedIn, like when I'm on LinkedIn or if I'm on any kind of job site, I'm interviewing the organization. I want to know what I'm getting myself into, and they need to know what my skill set is. So that's why I don't lie. Like if I have 6 months of something, then they should know that. I mean, if I put if it's on the borderline of I had 6 months, but I had a few more months, a few more weeks or something like that, and it's 7, right, I'm gonna err on the side of myself. It's like if it's 6 months, might turn to 7 months because I worked a few, something like that. That's fine. But like to say I was there 6 months and then I'm gonna put 2 years or something like that, I personally don't do that because I don't want to go in there. I want to manage their expectations. I don't want to boost myself up as some kind of a guru when I'm not. And the thing is, you'd be surprised how many organizations are lenient or open to you. If you don't know any, a certain thing, it's better to tell them because they can teach you. They can. Some organizations, they'll say, look, I see that you're working on your CISSP. You don't quite have it yet. That's fine. We have a program where we're going to get you a CISSP if you stay with us for 1 year. Like we're going to actually send you to a boot camp. We're going to pay for it. And IT, you see that kind of stuff. Or let's say they're looking for a DBA, looking for a database person, and they're looking for more like a mid-level, mid-tier person. You never know. Maybe their situation is like, we really need a DBA person. So what we're going to do is we see that you have some experience with it. You have 6 months. We need you to have 2 years, but it's okay. You're going to come in here. We're going to train you. We're going to send you to a boot camp. We're going to get you these certifications, and we're going to make it so that you're going to become a DBA. By the time you leave here, you're going to have certain certifications, Oracle certifications, MySQL certifications. You'd be surprised how many if you tell the truth, the organization, if you're a good worker, if you can show that you're a good worker and you're willing to learn and work with people, that's super valuable, right? Experience, you definitely need experience, but sometimes they're lenient on experience. If you have at least like 6 months, they'll bring you in and then they'll teach you and give you a lot of on-the-job training, and that is super valuable. I've had that happen to me several times. One of my first risk management framework jobs out of the military, as a matter of fact, I didn't have a CISSP, and the job requirement called for a CISSP. And I said, well, I don't have one, and I didn't have a Security Plus at the time. I said, look, I have a CCNA, I have an A Plus certification, I have a Network Plus certification. I'm more of a technical guy, but I've done risk management framework when I was in the military. I really know it. So they said, okay, look, we're going to hire you, but you have to, within 1 year, you have to get a CISSP. I said, okay, right. I didn't know at the time if I could get it or not. And as a matter of fact, I didn't. But when I came in, I was such a good worker and I was so dedicated and I knew my stuff that they gave me lenience. They actually sent me to boot camps to do all kinds of IT stuff. And then I actually, they paid for my CISSP. And man, that's the thing. If you tell the truth, sometimes they'll help you. They'll help your career, so that's why I don't lie on resumes. I don't recommend you do it just because you want the right organization. You don't want to try to fit yourself. You're a round peg and trying to fit into a square hole. Like, you don't want that, right? That situation. But that's just me. I understand why people do lie on their resumes. Switching topics a little bit. I understand why you would lie on your resume because, it's hard out here. Like, it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to get that position you want. It's difficult. I understand why people do. But I don't think you should, because it's better to be honest and find an organization that fits who you are at that moment, what your skill set is at that moment. And then when you get in the job, they know what to expect and you know what to expect. And it's way more smoother and way less stress. And the thing with a cybersecurity, you're going to have enough stress as is rather than dealing with trying to maneuver to fit some kind of narrative, like some kind of lie that you put in when you get in. Like, it's stressful enough without that kind of stuff. But that's just me. I understand why people would lie on it, but I wouldn't do it. All right, let me see. Somebody said I was going through some questions on my TikTok, and somebody said, he said, man, I'm dealing with Air Force risk management framework right now. It is painful. Yeah, risk management framework is painful. Security compliance is painful. A friend of mine, one of the smartest dudes I know, he got into security compliance, and he was a long time super hardcore technical person. One of the smartest technical people I've had the honor of being around. And this dude, he got into it for some time, and wow, he says he hated it. And the reason why is because there's so much drama around it. There's so much. Not only do you have a lot of process, but you got to deal with certain people's attitudes. And that for me has been the hardest part of risk management framework and security compliance. Whether I was in the private sector working for some private company or in the public sector working for the Department of Defense or NASA or whoever, the hardest part is dealing with certain people's attitudes because there's a lot of money at stake. Whenever you're doing risk management framework, you're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars of process, sometimes millions of dollars in process, and there's a lot of politics that get involved with it. So that's what makes it difficult, in my opinion. In my experience, that's been the thing that's been the most difficult. It's one thing to know the security controls and how to interpret them. It's a whole nother thing to deal with difficult people and dealing with certain attitudes that come with it or misunderstandings. That is the most stressful part. And the process can take a really long time. And sometimes the schedule slips forward or backwards and people's, sometimes it feels like people are so stressed out about it that they think that their livelihood is at stake. And the most difficult part has been dealing with those attitudes. And that's why cybersecurity is not for people who can't handle, it's risk management framework, I should say. Information system security officer work is not for people who don't want to talk to other people, because you're going to have to talk to people. You're going to have meetings with different levels of people. You got to have to talk to managers, C-level execs. Sometimes you'll have to talk to users. You'll have to talk to user representatives. You have to talk to system administrators, and each one of these people and groups sometimes will have a certain, and it's not always. It's always like one person, usually like one group that doesn't want to give you documents or something like that. But it's 90% of the other people are just like, they just want to know what's going on. Once they figure out, okay, I understand what's going on, they're usually cool. But the people who there's just certain, what is it like? What I would say, there's different kinds of people who are, some people who are just, some are very anal, and they don't understand that this is a process and it takes a while, and there's many different hands in the pot, and if something doesn't happen like immediately, they freak out, right? So the freak out people, I would call them. There's people who are anal and they panic, and for me, those are the ones that I have the most difficult time dealing with. So people who panic, and I have to calm them down. I have to explain the process, and sometimes they'll still panic. There's those people, and then you got people who, empire builders. Like, normally those are the technical dudes who've been at the organization for a long time, and they kind of hoard all the knowledge, right? It's like a firewall dude who knows everything about this firewall and doesn't want and sees that knowledge as a job security, and they don't share their knowledge with other people. And then you come and ask them a question. You don't want their damn job. All you want is some information that's going to help the security posture of the system. You just need some documentation, and they don't want to give you any information. It's like, so empire builders, another one that's difficult to deal with, are people who don't have time. They think it's a waste of their time for you to talk to you, because they don't think that security compliance and documentation is necessary. And so they've people like that. Wow. So those guys, they're very, it's hard to deal with them. Sometimes you got to go to their managers or something, because you don't have a choice. So in my experience, those are some of the people that I've had to deal with, and that's just how it is. It's the difficult part is not the process. It's dealing with people's attitudes and talking to them. Where the officer, if you happen to be doing this work, like, just hang in there, because it gets easier with time, because you're able to. It gets easier with time because you're able to adjust, and you become more mature at this, and it gives you a lot more patience and dealing with people. And the more you know the process, the more you know that, look, it's going to take time. You can explain it to people and explain what you're doing, and show that they can see the big picture and everything. And so just hang in there. It'll get better. All right. So something else. Let me see. Let me go through some questions somebody said to me here. Let me see here. I had some. Okay, I got some unrelated questions, but there's one question that came from my comments that I thought was interesting. And they said, this was something I did years ago about being an immigrant and working here in the U.S. And I was pretty positive about it. My attitude is that immigrants are the hardest workers here. Immigrants come here to they come here, they grind their ass off, and then they become very successful. And something like 25, I don't know if you knew this, but 25% of the businesses in the U.S. started in the U.S. are actually started by immigrants. I admire them a lot. So that's what the video was about. But this was their response. They said, it's hard to be an immigrant, especially since I was brought here at 3 years old and I grew up here. And knowing, okay, I went out looking for jobs in person, and they always ask for my number, and then they never call back. With apps I've applied for, they always ask for your social security number. I'm 19, and the only job I've worked in is in construction, and my dad and with my dad for 2 years and got paid minimum wage. Since I came at it here at a young age, all the people I know are born here and they got jobs like nothing, while I'm unemployed and broke and depressed. It's hard. So what I would do in your situation, so here's what I would do. Okay, there's no guarantee that this will work, but if you ever see this video, you should really try this. So what you're going to do is you're going to go on as many job sites as possible. Right? That should be your job, should be applying for jobs. Here's a couple right here. This is a site called Snag a Job. Go ahead and put your resume, put everything you've ever done on here. And you might want to do, if you have different skill sets, like if you know that you could do be a clerk at a grocery store, if you know that you could, if you're okay with the restaurant industry, right? Working in fast food. If you're okay bagging groceries in Safeway, if you're okay, like you got to start somewhere, right? Construction, make a resume for that. And if you can be a salesperson, make a resume for that. Make several, you can make multiple resumes. Put it on as many of these job platforms as possible. Now, some job platforms are more in tune with technical. Like, for example, dice.com is more in tune with technical. But you have some job aggregators that are for everybody. One of which is Snag a Job. Another one, I'm just going to go down the list of a couple here. Another one is monster.com. Monster.com has a lot of IT jobs, but also all kinds of jobs for all kinds of things all over the United States. I would apply on LinkedIn, put your whole full resume and everything on LinkedIn. Just like, here's how you do it. You go here on LinkedIn, you make an entire profile, right? It has your name. It has everything you've ever done. It has any kind of college or any kind of education you've done, any kind of certifications or licenses you have. You put those in here. Fill it completely out. Where people sometimes go wrong is they don't fill this thing out. Fill it completely out. And then what will happen is LinkedIn will start to find jobs for you. Certain jobs will pop up and be recommended to you, and people will find you based on your resume. So do that. Go to Snag a Job, go to monster.com, go to LinkedIn, go to indeed.com, go to simply anything you can think of. If you don't know of any, here's another thing you can do. You can go to Google. Now check this out. You can go to Google and say construction job. Watch this. Construction jobs. This works with any industry in any sector. You can find all kinds of jobs. I just went to Google and they have a search aggregator that pops up when you just type in jobs, right? It'll find your local area wherever you are. So, and if you want to work in a different area, you can literally put jobs, Texas, Plano, Texas, Houston, Texas, Austin, Texas, wherever you are. Put in that information. Now you look at all these jobs that popped up. Now what you do is apply to each one of these. Apply until you're tired of it. Apply to like 100. Applied. I'm not even joking. I'm not exaggerating. Apply to like 100 jobs. I guarantee you they will call you back. But the most effective way to do this, in addition to applying for 100 jobs in your industry, and if you are in two different industries, if you're in retail and you're in construction, apply for both of those. Do a resume for each one. And then what you do, the most leverage you can have, though, is to fill out your entire resume and your entire profile on Snag a Job, on Indeed, on LinkedIn, on all of these job aggregator sites. I only listed 3. I only named 3, but you want to keep going and listing them everywhere. ZipRecruiter, anything you can think of. As a matter of fact, you can just go. Another thing you could do is just go to Google and type in job sites, and then I'll put your resume on like 20 different job sites. 20 different job sites. 20 different job sites. And it's not going to be easy. It's going to be like a full-time job. It might take you a week to do it. 100. Go here to Google. Apply for 100 jobs. I'm not even messing. You might be laughing or whatever. I'm not even joking with you. What else do you have to do? What do you have to lose? Apply for 100 jobs. And then apply for 20 different job aggregators. Put your information on 20 different job aggregators. What works is massive action. That's what works. Massive action works every time. I guarantee you somebody will call you back, whether you're an immigrant with no social security number or not. Because some people just want a solid employee. I'm telling you, right now people are suffering because people are not wanting to work right now. Especially young people are not wanting to work. They're looking for somebody like yourself to come and go work for them. So, I mean, I myself have hired several people. I have hired several people, right? I'm telling you, people are looking for people to work. It's that's all I got to say. Massive action. You got to take action. All right. Let me see if I got anything else. One thing I wanted to talk to you guys about is I've got a course coming out soon. It's going to be security compliance, security control assessments. And people have been asking me to do this, and risk assessments is what I do. And for the public sector, I did it for a while, doing security assessments for organizations large and small. I know how to do security assessments, so I'm going to do a complete course about it. I'm already actually doing the videos. I do it every weekend when I have time. My job is super hectic. I mean, I don't have time to actually work. Sometimes I'm so exhausted after my job on Monday through Friday that I can't do anything else, right? I can't do videos. But weekends, Saturday and Sunday, most of my time is spent, when I can, working on the course. So I'm actually in the middle of doing the course. When I turn this video off, I'm actually going to work on those videos. So that's what I'm doing right now. I just want to let you guys know that a security course is coming. It's called Security Control Assessor. And be looking out for that. If you want an update on when this is going to come out, you know how I do this. If you've been watching me for some time, I release them super low. It doesn't start off with this price. Right now, my average price is, I got free courses, but my average price is like $300. It doesn't start off like that. I normally start off at a very low cost because I'm actually building it. I put in a good chunk of information, and then I actually add to it, right? It may start off at 6 hours of video, but then in the end, you got 12 hours of video, and then I got to up the price. So what I want you guys to do is sign up for free. And when I actually release this thing, I'm going to be putting out a newsletter. Another thing I'm going to start doing is people have been demanding I do this, but I do one-on-one sessions with people. Be a mentor, be a coach. I'm actually going to put myself out there to do that. I can't do it right now. I am too busy, but I'm telling you, I'm going to do it soon. Probably starting around June. I'm going to put out like a calendar where you can book me, and then I'll be doing stuff I'll be able to work with you directly, one-on-one, on the phone, videos. And what we'll do is I'll break down your resume. I'll tell you, I'll interview you just like I was a security control guy, a cybersecurity person, interview just like that. So you know how to respond. And then another thing I'll do is look for where you fit, like how I would market if it was me, if I had your resume, your skills, how would I market myself so I can market you directly? That's the kind of stuff I'm going to do as a mentor and a coach to you guys, but I can't do it right now. It's going to be sometime in June. Excuse my voice. Okay, let me see. I got some people popping in. Just found your channel. Recommend somebody do with no experience. Where do you start? Okay, I get this question a lot. And what I want to do is ask other cybersecurity professionals on here who follow me. A lot of times, Sean, the great thing about this channel, Convocourses, is that we have a conversation, and I'll have several different security compliance, cybersecurity professionals jump on here who are way more knowledgeable than me and certain things, and I want to get their perspective. But I could tell you what I would do starting right now. What would I do if I had no experience? If I had no experience and I want to get into cybersecurity, I'm assuming that's what you want to do. Correct me if I'm wrong, but if I was trying to get into cybersecurity, I know it pays well. I know it's hot. I know it's in demand, right? I want to get in this field. And let me tell you something. You can do it. Okay, if I can do it, you can do it, right? Let me just show you where you want to start. The first thing you want to do is become a geek. You want to become a nerd. this, and let me show you. I have a free course where I talk about this. You're free to sign up and check it out. But let me show you what it looks like. I'm about to tell you a summarization of what's in this course. You don't have to submit, get in there, but I would highly recommend you do this. Let me see if I can find it. It's a free course, and I talk about how to get into cybersecurity, what I would do, where you start, all that kind of. Here it is right here. 35 lessons. Where do you start? Types of beginners. Become an IT geek. From IT professional to cybersecurity. There's levels to this. The first thing you need to do is there's a common body of knowledge. This means there's certain things you need to know before you get into cybersecurity. And one of those is basic IT, basic information technology. How do computers work? It's as simple as that. That's where you start. How do they work, right? You don't have to know how to solder integrated parts together. You don't have to know how to, these days, you don't even have to necessarily know how to put a computer from scratch together, right? You don't have to necessarily know that. But you do need to know how they work, and you need to know how to troubleshoot something if it does get fixed. So let me show you another great place where you can learn. You can go to my site, Convocourses.com, and get that free course. I walk you through things you should know. But here's another place. I show people this I get this question every week, and usually I show them this. CompTIA is a great place to get certifications, but it's also a great place to learn. So if you don't know anything at all about computers, if you're starting from scratch, one of the places you can go is CompTIA.org, and go here to CompTIA IT Fundamentals. There's no requirement on having any experience whatsoever. But what it does is it teaches you all the things that you have to know before you, as you're getting into this career field. Fundamentals, like the basics of the basics. IT concepts and terminology. Look at this. IT concepts and concepts and terminology. Look at that. Right? Because this is a big one, by the way, because a lot of times they'll be talking and you won't know what they're talking about. They'll be talking about PCI. Are they talking about PCI compliance? Are they talking about PCI cards that you put in workstations? They're going to explain to you what a MAC address. What is that? They're going to explain to you all the terminology of it. Infrastructure. What does that mean? How do computers network together? Wireless networks, database fundamentals, basics of security. These fundamentals are a great start. And as a matter of fact, they're foundational, because before you get into security this deep and the security, you have to know the basics, right? These folks that are saying online, oh, just get this or that certification, and then suddenly, magically, you're making six figures. I've never seen that before. I have to be honest with you. But this can get your foot in the door. Something like this can get you to the point where now you know whether or not you want to pursue this, right? Number one, do you even want to do this? Because you might get halfway through this and be like, this isn't what I want, right? I want to be an electrical engineer. I want to do something else, right? Or you might read this and be like, this is it. Like a alarm goes off and you're like, this is it. This is what I want to do, and go for it. After this one, you'll do something called an A+ certification, which is much harder than this one, right? It's not just fundamentals. It's not just terminology. It's actually hardware and software components. That's where you're probably going to be building systems, right? Because you got to learn to troubleshoot them, right? And not necessarily building systems. You don't even have to go that deep, to be honest with you. Right? You don't even have to go that deep. You do have to know how to troubleshoot, and to do that, you have to know how the computers work. And once you know how the computers work, then you go a step further, which is Network Plus, which is learning how to network those things together. You can use, I have an A+ and a Network Plus. Okay, let me ask you this. How much experience do you have? How much have you worked in any kind of help desk department before? Because that's a whole different conversation. If you have worked in this industry, then we're gonna have a whole different conversation right now, because I'm about to show you something. Let me show you. NIST 853 controls. control families. You have an A+ and a Network Plus. You have. Okay, how many years of experience do you have? Just out of curiosity. Okay. So you say you've worked in a help desk before, 5 year. Oh my Lord. Okay. Sean, check this. I'm about to blow your mind, my man. Let me just tell you something. I'm about to put you on some game, man. All right, look. So now it comes down to your resume. Because if you have 5 years of experience, you have an A+, you have a Network Plus, you've done some networking stuff before, you've troubleshot wireless networks, that means you have security experience already. You just have to know how to put it on your resume. All right. That's the number one problem I see with folks who say, oh, I've got 2-3 years of experience. I can't find a good job. I can't. It's all now it comes down to your resume. Now it's about marketing yourself. And this is how I'm just going to tell you how I've done it, man, because this has worked for me for many years. Just to let you know, I've been working remotely from my house for about 6 years now. Making 6 figures doing cybersecurity, right? If I can do it, anyone can do it. And the way I did it was like, I explain it in one of my courses. Now listen, if you know, this is not to sell you my course, man. You can literally get everything I'm about to tell you for free off of YouTube. Just go to YouTube and search. You can search Convocourses. Everything I'm about to tell you, I talk about it. It's just scattered all over the place, right? I go a little bit deeper in my course, but you do not have to buy it, okay? Let me just show you. What's really great about this course is my breakdown. So what I do is I tell people how to research the industry in order to know what to say on your resume. You have the experience already. Now it's just a matter of making your resume match your skill set, your cybersecurity skill set, and market yourself as a cybersecurity person. All right. So I just break all of it down, like how to do it on Dice, Career Builder, Google Jobs, ZipRecruiter, and it's really the same pattern over and over again. So this right here is my LinkedIn page, by the way. You want to be on LinkedIn, all right? You want to be on LinkedIn, number one. LinkedIn is just a way to network. It's a great way to network to people and find jobs, and the jobs actually find you if you fill the thing out correctly. So part of my course goes through how to do that. You can just copy what I did here. Go to linkedin.com, find Bruce, CISSP, RMF. Here it is, right? You're looking at it on the page right here. Copy what I did. Completely fill out what you have. Put everything on there, right? Number one. What happens is once you fill this out, the algorithm in LinkedIn will find jobs for you and send them to you. In addition to that, you can do things like alerts, and you'll start getting notifications on a regular basis for jobs, for cybersecurity jobs. Now, if you want to know how do you market yourself, look at the things you've done that are related to cybersecurity, and that's what I want to show you right here. So, if you have ever, let me take you to the control families real quick. So, security control families is breaking down the best security practices throughout the industry. This is not just for NIST 800, by the way. Okay, this is for ISO 27001. If you didn't know, it's an international standard. All right, and then PCI compliance for protection of credit cards. Man, it's like it's breaking down everything you should have on your resume, because that's the stuff that they're looking for. They want to know if you can do best security practices. I always felt I never knew enough. You do. You know more than most people. You don't give yourself enough credit. But you got to let your resume shine, and you got to market yourself, right? man, you have 5 years of experience. Some people come to me, they have zero experience. And you have 5. So of that 5, you have, okay, look, here's some, this is not NIST 800, but this is going to break down the security best practices. What I went to is, I'm on the CISSecurity.org, and they have a bunch of their security controls here, right? Security controls are pretty much the same throughout all frameworks, cybersecurity frameworks. They just break down everything an industry, an organization should have on their systems. And these all should be familiar to you if you have 5 years of experience. Things like, you'd be surprised what's on here. Inventory of authorized and unauthorized devices, right? So like a blacklist or a whitelist. Like if you've ever been a part of helping your organization set up the host-based firewalls where you're blocking certain IPs or something like that. Or maybe you have experience with that. Maybe you have experience setting up a blacklist against malware sites. You got your users within your organizations were going to these sites that they shouldn't be going to. So you help the organization blacklist those sites. Like you put them on a list that said nobody from our organization will go to these sites. You want to put that stuff on your resume. All right, let me come up with a couple other ones here. Security configuration and hardware, software for mobile devices, laptops, workstations, and servers. If you've ever been a part of doing security configurations, I know you've done this. If you've done help desk, you've done security configurations for laptops and servers and all kinds of stuff, right? This is something you got to put on your resume. This is called configuration management. And this is super important to an organization. You got to put that on your resume. And at the top of your resume, you want to market yourself as a cybersecurity specialist. That's what you can put. And then highlight all of the stuff you've done related to cybersecurity. Now, I'm not telling you to lie on the roles you've had, but that's the job you're going for. You're going for a cybersecurity professional. So you could put cybersecurity professional on the top of your resume. Now, in the roles, you put the role that you had, because they might call the employer and say, hey, I want to know what job Sean did. Was he really a cybersecurity officer at this job? No, he was an IT help desk customer service guy or whatever, right? So you want to be truthful on your resume. I'm not telling you to lie, but on the top of it, what you're going for is a cybersecurity professional. So you can put that on there. It's a key word. Cybersecurity professional is a key word, and you want to put that on there on LinkedIn. I'm just telling you what I've done, and it's worked. So the very first thing I put on here on my LinkedIn page is cybersecurity risk management framework. The reason I put this stuff in here is because the key words is what this algorithm is looking for. And then people are contacting me. Check this out. People are contacting me. These are jobs. Some of these are jobs. Jobs. Now, some people are just contacting me because they see my stuff on the internet or whatever. But most of these are jobs. People reaching out to me for jobs. Messaging me for jobs. Calling me all day for jobs. Some of this is spam, but it's a bad example. But many of these are jobs. People watching out and calling me because my resume is dialed in, man. It's dialed right into cybersecurity. I rarely get jobs that are not related to security, and the reason why is because my resume is dialed into cybersecurity. That's what you got to do with your resume. Now, let me cover a couple other things that I'm sure you have that you need to put on your resume. With 5 years of experience, I'm sure you've done a lot of this. Incident response and management. What is that? What is incident response? That's like if you guys had a security incident, that means information was leaked outside the organization. Or if you deal with classified, somebody had some classified information, it got leaked into unclassified territory, and everybody had to respond to see what's going on. If you've ever been hacked, like the network got hacked, and you were involved with responding to that incident, you can put that you assisted with the incident response team to clean up malware from the network, right? It would have caused millions of dollars in damages and affected 30 servers because it was a worm, start to spread around the network. That's the kind of stuff you want to put on your resume. That's the kind of stuff that cybersecurity professionals and organizations looking for cybersecurity professionals want to see. let me see. Let's boundary defense. If you've helped at all in any way with intrusion detection systems, any kind of protection system, firewalls, any kind of intrusion protection or detection devices, any kind of help whatsoever, host-based firewalls, those kinds of things, you want to put that on your resume. If you've configured them, if you've installed them, if you've updated them, all of that stuff. Vulnerability management. Now, I know you've done this. That's like whenever Patch Tuesday comes around and you've got to update all the systems and you're helping to manage all those systems. You know way more than you give yourself credit. You got to put it on your resume. This whole thing is about marketing yourself. That's the name of the game. That's why I called this one. If you sign up for this, some of the stuff on here is free, by the way. Some of the stuff you can download, some of my tips, all the stuff you'll see on there is free. The first part of it, you have some stuff in here that's free. So sign up on my site. You'll get some free stuff. Also go on the YouTube channel. I got tons of free stuff on there that you can just look through anytime I'm talking about entry-level jobs and how to get in there and things like that. You don't need an entry. You're done. You don't even need that no more. Like, you need to focus on resume at this point. By the way, I got to pay some bills. So just bear with me. But I have another course that talks about walking you through exactly what I'm talking about. Building your resume and marketing the hell out of your resume. And then I've got another one that breaks down how to actually write and gives you some tips on like the language, how to find the language that you need to get a cybersecurity job, resume writing for cybersecurity. This is stuff I'm good at. It's worked for me. That's all I know. Like, I don't know how good I am, but let me put it to you this way. I have not been out without a job. I have not been without a job. Now, it may take me a longer time to get one sometimes when I'm picky because I want to get a certain amount of salary range and I want to work with a certain kind of company. It might take me a little bit while, but see, the thing is, I can get a job immediately, right? If it was just about getting a job, period, I could get one immediately. You want to put this kind of stuff on your resume. This is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. By the way, some of this stuff is free. So sign up for my site on Convocourses.com. Get some of the free stuff. Test it out for yourself. Look at the free stuff, and then you'll have a better idea of whether or not you want to continue. Now, in the very near future, I'm going to be offering one-on-one sessions as well as for companies. I can work for a company for a short period of time, but that'll be all on Convocourses.com. So just be looking out for that. All right, so I got 7 people watching me. Man, Sean, I hope that works out for you. You're really on the right track, man. You're way further ahead than other people. So don't lose hope, man. It's just at this point, it's just your resume. The hard part's done. You have experience. That's the thing I talk about the most on this channel is get people getting experience. You have it. You just have to advertise it and put yourself out there as a cybersecurity person. Don't just stop with LinkedIn, by the way. Put yourself on Dice, Monster, Simply Hired, Indeed.com, everywhere. Put yourself everywhere and market yourself. Start off with the resume, market that, put that all the keywords for cybersecurity in there. Showed you where to find the best practices. You probably already know the best security best practices. Talk about all the times you've done looking at logs, removing malware, installing patches. That's all security-based stuff. Put that on your resume and then market the hell out of your resume. That's it in a nutshell. All right. I really don't have anything else, guys. I'm trying to change this thing up. I might do another live here real soon so that I can set up. It's going to be more testing because I need to set up like a thing where you guys can talk to me directly, where people could dial in and talk to me to make this more of combo courses where we're having a conversation. Do you guys have any recommendations on what tools to use? I was thinking of using Discord or Restream or something like that. But if you guys have any Zoom, if you guys have any suggestions, feel free to let me know like what kind of platforms you would recommend that you could dial in and talk to me directly, or I could just at least hear your voice. You can ask your question and then we can talk about it. Or I got an expert jump on and then they can actually talk about something and enlighten all of us. That's the kind of platforms I'm looking for. So if you guys have any suggestions, I'm going to probably start with Discord. That's the one I know. But maybe I'll try Restream and some other platforms as well. And I think that's it for this one. This is a short one. And I will be back on here real soon to try to figure out how to do streaming to where we can all talk to one another directly. All right, guys, that's it for this one.